On the last episode, I talked about two things that I'll be discussing on today's vlog. And the first one was my aftermarket steering wheel by MOMO, which is right behind me. And the second one is putting back the OEM engine cover. Instead of starting off with swapping out the aftermarket MOMO steering wheel, I'm going to go ahead in reverse order and remove the GT3 wing and replace it with the OEM engine cover. I'm now in my garage, so let's get started with the project. Now that I got my OEM engine cover unwrapped, what I'm going to do now is finally weigh it. I've been always curious of how heavy this weighs because it's pretty small, but when I carry it, it's pretty heavy. So I'm kind of curious to see how heavy it is compared to the GT3 wing on my car right now. So I got my scale down here. It's zeroed out. I'm going to need both hands to carry this. So once I'm done weighing it, I'm going to go ahead and record how much it weighs. Okay, I have it set up on the scale. How much does it weigh? 25.220. I have my OEM engine cover out on my foldable table. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop the engine cover hood and then remove the GT3 wing. On the side, they're fastened with 2 screws on this side and then 2 on the other side as well. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen it and then pull out the GT3 wing. Can't forget too that there's the cable here for the cable here for the fan. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect that down here and then work on taking out the screws. Now that I got the GT3 wing off, I'm going to go ahead and bring it in the garage and weigh it. This one's a little over 25 pounds. This is significantly lighter, so I'm curious to find out how heavy it is. Okay, I have the GT3 wing on the scale now. Let's see how much it weighs. So it's 24.145. So it's about a pound lighter, which is surprising to me because just lifting this compared to the stock one, it feels a lot different. I've removed the engine cover in the past by myself, but this time I used 2 people to help me just to be safe. Now that I have the GT3 wing off, I'm going to go ahead and attach the OEM engine cover to the hinges over here, and I'm going to do on both sides. And then once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and align it to make sure that it lines well to the sides. That way it has a perfect fit. Now that I got everything aligned, I'm going to plug the cable so that everything is functional again. Here's how it looks now without the wing. It's something probably I need to get a little used to, but for the most part, it looks pretty clean. I like how the car looks a little bit more wider. Now that my car is back together, I want to go ahead and take it for a short drive and see how it looks like from a distance. I haven't had the OEM engine cover on for several years, and the last time I had it on, I didn't have this set up with the 997 TT rear bumper and power agency rear diffuser, as well as the side diffusers and the modified front bumper of my car. So it'll be interesting to see how it looks like with this setup. Now that I'm back in the garage and I'm pretty pleased with the way it looks like without the GT3 wing, I'm gonna go ahead and now move on to the next part of this vlog and put on my MOMO Race steering wheel with a quick release. Before I install the MOMO steering wheel on my 911, I wanna give a brief history on it because I've had it for over 20 years. The first job I got after college, I saved up enough money to buy my Toyota MR2, which is a car that I've been wanting to buy 5 years before that. Back in those days, having one of these wheels was pretty much a big deal. When I first got it, it was just the steering wheel by itself, and the horn button was actually, it was like a stone gray or a charcoal gray. And so I upgraded it with this red horn button, but everything else pretty much is the same from 20 plus years ago. So every time I switch cars or I upgrade to another one, I always keep my steering wheel and save it so I could put on my next project. Now that I have my quick release MOMO steering wheel on, it's much easier to get in my car without the steering wheel being in the way. Before, when I had the OEM wheel, I'd have trouble getting my knees through, and especially if the car is really low. Now it's much more easier to get in my car without bumping my knee on the steering wheel. I'm really happy how it looks with the OEM engine cover on, as well as the MOMO steering wheel. It makes a world of difference driving with the steering wheel on, and it feels like I'm in a race car. That's gonna do it for this episode. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you on the next one.